go to the next stage. Okay. All right. Now here I have this 4x4 matrix. Okay. If some projects are difficult and some projects are easy. Okay. And some projects has big benefits, that is the payoff. Some projects are low payoff. Okay. So on the vertical axis, we have the difficulty. Okay. And on the horizontal axis, we have the benefits or the payoff. If this is clear, type SC super clear in the chat box. All right, fantastic. Now towards in the payoff, as you move towards the right, it is the high payoff, that is high benefit. And difficulty, if you go towards the top, it is difficulty, it is less difficult, it's least difficult. So if it is high payoff and it's very easy to do, it's not so difficult, okay, what should you do? This one, please type in the chat box. What should you do? If it is high payoff and low difficulty, what do? Implement. Implement is the right word, because it's easy and it is payoff is high. At the same time, if the payoff is high and the difficulty is also high, if both are high, what do? If both are high, what do? Challenge. Both are high, what do? It is challenge. Because just read this carefully, maybe you're not able to see. The payoff on the left side is low, right side is high, whereas difficulty on the bottom is high and on the top is low. Okay, so if this, to summarize this slide, if it is high payoff and it is not so difficult, please implement it. And if it is high payoff, difficulty is also high, challenge it and do it, get it done. Okay. And if the payoff is not good and it's very difficult, just forget it. And if the difficulty is very low, but payoff is also low, it is possible to proceed with this. Okay. So if this slide is clear, on a scale of 1 to 10, please give me a 9 or 10 if it is super, super clear. Okay. That's how we take a project. Very common sense, nothing, just wanted to give you that framework. All right. Thank you very much. Now let's enter in creating a project charter. What is a project charter? All of you type FD in the chat box. Formal document. Okay. Project charter is a formal document. It's a formal document. Okay. It outlines project goals, objectives, scope, responsibilities. Let us go into the depth of each and everything here now. The define phase. When we enter the project process, the define phase, the initial knowledge levels vary from well-defined problems to minimal informations. That's why we saw that matrix earlier. And then the team might start with only the knowledge that the problem exists. Okay. The team might start with only the knowledge that the problem exists. Because beyond from knowing that the problem exists, they might not know anything else. Define phases. Transition from basic information to solid foundation of the project. You have a basic information, and then at the end of the define phase, you should be very clear about what the project is about. Okay. We establish rules. We finally create a project charter. In the project charter, we identify all the stakeholders, customers, everything. And then we also define the process through what is called as a process mapping and prepare what is called as the toll gate checklist or toll gate review. So this is what is the define phase structure. Now, creating the project charter, how will we create the project charter? Very, very important to create project charter. Okay. The purpose of the project charter sets the expectations and aligns the project with business goals. Okay. There are many problems that people say, but they don't align with the project goals. They just start the project without aligning to the project goals. That's a wrong practice. Okay. How many of you can relate to what I'm saying? Please type ICR. I can relate in the chat box. They just generally start the project. They don't align with the project, the business goals. That's very, very important to align the project with the business goals. Okay. Now, this entire process control, okay, from the business leaders, once a project is done, it transfers from the business leaders to the Six Sigma team, the entire control of the process. The key component is the problem statement. All of you type PS in the chat box, problem statement. And critical to quality metrics, please type CTQ in the chat box. It defines the project success. Problem statement should be clear and concise, okay? And team members, their names, their roles and responsibilities should be clear. All of you type TM in the chat box. And customers, internal customers and external customers for the process, okay? Then be clear with, so all of you type PC, and then sponsor and champions, okay? Identify leadership support. All of you type SC, okay? Super clear, and sponsor and champions, okay? And then project timeline, project duration. All of you type PD in the chat box. All of you take a lot of notes. This is very important, okay? There can be some additional elements, which is, you know, non-customer stakeholders. And then we also develop a schedule for completing the project, the scope and financial drivers. Okay. The outcome is a well-considered charter that strengthens the project foundation. If this is clear on a scale of 1 to 10, please give me a 9 or 10 if it is. Thank you, Malin, for that awesome comment. Okay, it's also a great feeling to have people like you, Mr. Malin Kulkarni. Okay, Mr. Malin Kulkarni is a part of our inner circle. All right. So the benefits of organizational team charter is it streamlines the define phase. It organizes the define phase. Okay. So efficient project setup is very important. You have to set up the project efficiently. It facilitates that. Clarity. It embraces clarity. It enables leadership and employees to quickly grasp the critical process components. Okay. Consistency is very important. It promotes consistency. It standardizes the documentation process across the teams. And it helps focus. Okay. It helps focus. So concise project charter is generally in one page, or it can be in few pages also. And the sample template is included. How many of you want sample template? Type ST in the chat box. I'll give you the sample template shortly, okay? I'll give you access to the sample template also. And I'll give you templates of almost every industry. Today, I spent a lot of efforts in curating templates for healthcare, media, education, IT, marketing, and several templates, okay? So the question is, what is the primary purpose of project charter in a Six Sigma project? Okay, to identify the roles of external stakeholders, to establish a timeline of the project, to set expectations and keep the team focused on the goal, or to allocate financial resources for the project. The answer is very intuitive. I'm sure all of you will answer this question right. Maximum people give C, to set expectations and keep the team focused, okay? All right, thank you very much for your active participation. Okay, next question. Which of the following is not typically included in the team charter, okay, which is not typically included in the team charter. Let's see. A complete and concise problem statement, the name and roles of each team member, a detailed budget for the project, a list of internal and external process customers, which is not, look at this question, which is not typically in the project charter, which is not typically in the project charter. Let's see. Absolutely, C is the right answer. The budget is never a part of, a detailed budget is not a part of it, okay? All right, so these components we are going to go through. This is a very high level indication of what all the components of a project charter, a business case, a problem statement, scope, goal statement, timelines. And apart from these major 5, there are also multiple small things which we will go into the depth of it. Okay, if you found so far, if it is interesting, useful, fantastic, awesome, please put it in the chat box, whatever that you felt. I will draw inspiration from all your comments and proceed with the session today. All right, thank you very much. Okay, the charter elements are, okay, the business case, the project scope, the list of stakeholders, list of the stakeholders, team member roles, milestone, measurement of success, and expected financial benefits. So these are the charter elements that I'm going to share with you today. Okay, the business case. So just a quick question to people, anybody can type, what do you mean by a business case? Let's see some answers in the chat box. What is the purpose of a business case? A need, correct. Explains why behind the project, justify the project. Very good. Connection to the problem statement. Expands on the financial metrics from the problem statement. Importance, it gives importance, justifies, somebody said already, why the problem needs to be solved, okay? And it also tells you the urgency. Look, if you don't do this, we'll be losing so much. All right. Okay, very good. All of you have active participation today. Project scope. Now let me explain to you quickly the project scope. Start and end points of the process or problem. Okay, that's a scope. What is in scope and what is out scope? Okay, I normally say this. There are 3 scopes that we do in manufacturing. All of you type the process scope, the machine scope, and the product scope. Okay, like what process that you will be selecting. Okay, starting point of the process, end point of the process, what machines that you will be selling. Okay, machine A or machine B or machine C, and what product in that machine. Okay, all that. So these are all some key highlights. Okay, so in scope and out scope, what should you include in this, what you should exclude from the project. And project scope gives clarity and precision, avoids vague statements. Okay. So starts when a customer places an order, ends when the order is boxed for shipment, something like this. Okay, this is a clear statement, right? And avoid, from order stage to fulfillment, something like that. Okay, and then it ensures that it is well defined and approved by the sponsor, so that we are all set to go, so that it doesn't create any confusion after the project has started. Okay, so if the project scope is clear, give me a 9 or 10 if the project scope is clear. On a scale of 1 to 10, please give me a 9 or 10 if the project scope is clear. Let me go to the next element. All right, thank you. And list the stakeholders. It's very important to be very clear on whom all should you be contacting. right? So the purpose of listing the stakeholders is to identify the major stakeholders. Okay. So their needs, their impacts are considered. And it also creates visibility. Keep the list visible. Okay. See, if you don't keep it visible, some people might feel, some stakeholders might feel, hey, you've not even bothered to check with me when you're doing the project. This is, how many of you can relate to what I'm saying? Somebody feels left out. He's saying, hey, you guys started the project. You've not, even included me. Okay. Type ICR. I can relate in the chat box. Awesome. And resource direction. It also guides the team to external resources, providing help, access, information related to the project. So it gives a purpose, it gives visibility, it gives the direction of the resource. Okay. If list of the stakeholders is clear, please give me a 9 or 10 if this is clear. Why we should list the stakeholders. Right? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next, team member roles. How many of you agree that defining the roles of each and every team member is very, very important? Type VVIP in the chat box. Okay. All right. Thank you. The purpose is to list all the team members, their roles, expected time commitments, etc. And it gives the importance of time commitment. Okay, so that we know there are tools like Gantt charts, which we are going to say. It helps the sponsors and the leadership team to understand the human resource needs also. Of course, approval is required. So some like time commitment is like Mike Smith, who is a black belt, 100% committed. Like the process owner, 25% commitment is required, and some subject matter experts. All of you type SME in the chat box. You have to include some subject matter experts. SME means subject matter experts. Okay, you should include them also. Those subject matter experts. Okay. All right, thank you. Now project milestones. All right. Before that, I just wanted to confirm if team member roles are clear on a scale of 1 to 10, please give me a 9 or 10 if the team member roles are super, super clear. Awesome. Thank you very much for your active participation. Let's go to project milestones. Project milestones are very, very important. Okay. Let me quickly take you to this. There's something called as Gantt chart. All of you type GC in the chat box. Gantt chart is nothing but you list the activity and the time that each of these activity would take. It's called as a Gantt chart. Okay. It's a visual tool for displaying the phases over time. So generally it gives a quick one-page, easily included in one-page project charter for quick review. And the dates for each and every phase is very clear. Define phases, how many months, measure phase, analyze phase, improve phase, control phase, the start dates and end dates, and the team agreement is there for this. Okay. And the sponsors who actually fund the projects, gives the resources, sets the milestone, and they can also see very, very clearly the approve of it. Okay. Additional milestone can also be within the phases. It's not that each of the phase should have milestones, but within the phases like measure, improve, analyze, you can have some milestones. Okay. I mean, in some projects, what we do is we actually have a separate detailed milestone charts, Gantt charts for if you have within each of the phase, if you have some activities with milestones, it can be a separate thing. Okay, if project milestones are clear, please give me a 9 or 10 if it is super, super clear. The question, what is the main purpose of including business case in a project charter? To outline the timeline of the project, to explain why the project is important and why it should be undertaken, to list the roles and responsibility of team members, to define the project scope. Just now we discussed, it's also intuitive, very easy. Yes, the correct answer is to explain why the project is important and why it should be taken. Fantastic. Now the second question, we'll have a couple of more questions on this. Which tool is commonly used to display the phases of project according to time in a Six Sigma charter? A type of diagram, in and out of box method, Gantt chart, and Pareto. Just now we had discussed, right? So all of you type this, I know. Because just now we were talking in detail about this chart. Okay, awesome. So last question in this project charter elements. Why is it important? Why is it important to list the time commitment of each team member in the project charter? To track employees' attendance, to ensure that all the team members are working full-time on the project, to help the sponsors and leadership understand the human resource requirement for the project, to determine the financial benefits of the project. This also we discussed. All of you are unanimously typing the same letter C. So that should be the right answer, to help the sponsors and leadership understand the human resource of elements of this project. Okay. All right. So far, if you're finding it useful, interesting, valuable, fantastic, awesome, put it in the chat box before I jump into the measurement of success. Thank you very much, each and every one of you. Hope you are enjoying the sessions. All right. Thank you. All right. Let me jump into the measurement of success. See, everybody should have the alignment of the metric. That is, the sponsor who is actually providing resources, the time, money, and people, etc., should know on what metric that defines the success. There should be an alignment. Example, customer satisfaction versus internal quality scores. And critical to quality is also one of the measurement of success. Use CTQ. All of you, please, if you're new to this, type CTQ, take notes. There are some previous videos where I have spoken about CTQs, okay? So critical to quality metrics is a foundation for success measurements. Okay. And then, of course, it has to be converted into the measurable outcomes also, and finalizing the metric. Initial metric may start in the define phase, but should be finalized in the measure phase. Okay. All right. So measurement of success is clear. Please give me a 9 or 10 if it is super clear. Right. Expected financial benefits. Right. Expected financial benefits. That should be a part of the defined phase, right? Financial benefits are very, very crucial. The language of leaders is what? All of you type money, money, money in the chat box. The language of leaders is money. All of you type money, 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 money in the chat box. The language of leaders is money. Financial benefits are a crucial part of for project approval and resource allocations. They should be detailed in the business case section of the project charter. They provide the basis for evaluating the resource request and measurement of project success. Because return on investment, all of you type ROI in the chat box. Return on investment. I'll give you this time, I'll allocate this resource, I'll fund you this money, but what's the return on investment, right? That's really an estimated approach. They should also know budget allocation, right? Avoid overestimating to prevent under delivery. Under promise, over perform. Better to provide conservative estimates and exceed them. Okay, like you say that, quality levels is this, but do better. On time delivery, so much percentage we will do, but we'll do better. Under promise and over deliver. Accuracy in financial benefit is essential in maintaining trust and achieving project goals. Okay. Generally, it is also good. See, healthcare Six Sigma project charter template example. Okay. This is manufacturing project charter template and example here. This is pharma project charter template and example. And this is retail. If somebody is in retail, this is a retail project charter. Okay, let me just quickly check this project charter. I want to know from people, how many of you are from healthcare? Type HC in the chat box. This is the healthcare Six Sigma project charter. If anybody is from healthcare, you can type HC. If anybody from manufacturing, type MFG in the chat box. If you're from manufacturing, this is manufacturing. If you are from pharma, please type PHA in the chat box. If you are from pharmaceutical industry, PI in the chat box. Okay, pharma. Okay, fine. And if you're from retail, type RET in the chat box. If you're from retail sector, okay, this is a project charter template. And if you're from IT, BPO, everything, this is an example of an IT. Okay. If you're from aviation, okay, type AVI in the chat box. If you're from. Okay, Vikas is trying to find out what is missing. I can't list all the industries, Vikas ji. Okay. Okay. Non-profit. If you are from non-profit organization, type NP in the NPO. Okay, this is from food industry, restaurant. Okay. This is real estate. If you are from real estate, construction, this is an example, right? You might be from media. This is if you're from construction, this is from construction. Okay. Template. How many of you are from education, higher education, education industry? This is from education. Okay. How many of you want all these templates? How many of you want? Type want in the chat box. Okay. So review the charter with success in mind. Okay. Essential question to address is goals, finance, timelines. Are they challenging and yet realistic? So that is the question that you'll have to address. Team commitment. Can everyone dedicate the necessary time? Sponsors influence. Is there a strong sponsor champion for critical support? And support from all the departments. Will auxiliary department like IT, HR be available as needed? And freedom to implement. Will the teams have the autonomy, authority to implement the approved solutions? And expertise of the leader. Is the leader skilled in Six Sigma and project management? Action addresses any no answers to ensure charter supports successful project.